Please not Bashar, Pete, Shapiro, or Kelly. Wait, what? Why not Bashar on there? You can't put Andy Bashar on the same wavelength as Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, or Mark Kelly. Like, Andy Bashar has had significantly better policy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper has withdrawn from the Harris VP consideration.
Developments in Vice President Kamala Harris's search for a running mate. One of the leading candidates has taken himself out of the running as speculation grows about her pick. Nancy Cordes is at the White House with the details. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Vlad. That's right. And it's someone who was seen as a leading contender from a battleground state. It's North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. And I was told he took himself out of the running because of politics within his state. More on that in a minute. But there still is a large field being considered for VP, and many of them were out on the campaign trail yesterday.
Vice President Harris has been battle-tested.
Hitting the campaign trail in his home state of Pennsylvania, Governor Josh Shapiro, a top VP contender, rallied the troops against Donald Trump.
The chaos that he injected into our lives, we don't want to go back to that, gang. We don't want to go back to that. Hell no, right?
Several other VP contenders joined a massive fundraising Zoom call last night. It was billed as White Dudes for Harris and raised more than $4 million.
Donald Trump's unfitness for office is clear.
How often?
White Dudes for Harris is like, I don't know what the Democratic Party is doing, man. Austin, you hit a omega lol, except I didn't see your ass in the White Dudes for Harris call. I feel like this is exactly your lane here. You're libbed up. You're a white dude. You're for Mamala. You're feeling the Mamala-mentum. I didn't see your ass on that Zoom call. I was there, of course. I was there raising funds.
In 100 days, you get to change the trajectory of the world.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper spoke on the call, too, even as the news broke that he had taken himself out of the running for VP. A source familiar with his thinking says Cooper was concerned that North Carolina's controversial lieutenant governor, Republican Mark Robinson, would, quote, cause chaos whenever Cooper left the state to campaign.
We know that this country needs Kamala Harris more than ever right now.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer told CBS Mornings that she asked not to be considered either.
I'm going to stay as governor until the end of my term at the end of 2026. So
you
I
have
am
not
not a
been
part of the vetting.
But another Michigander, Senator Gary Peters, may be getting a look at the urging of organized labor.
Vice President Harris has a lot of great candidates to look at, and we respect the process.
The Harris campaign has said she's looking for a governing partner who has the experience to step into the job and be effective on day one.
They are creating an anti-family and anti-child society.
President Trump defended his own VP pick, Senator J.D. Vance, Monday after Vance said people should pay more in taxes as punishment if they don't have children.
He's not against anything.
I love these. I love these hits, dude. Hit after hit with JD. Our boy is cooking. Okay. Let's continue.
But he loves family.
Or no, that was his friend. That was Roger's friend did an exorcism on his wife. Roger didn't do it.
And new this morning, the Harris campaign has launched their first media ad buy. Their first ad just about her. It's worth $50 million across battleground states, and it's being aired ahead of the Democratic National Convention. We also learned that Harris will have a special guest in Atlanta today. That's rapper Megan Thee Stallion, who announced that she'll join the vice president at her rally in the battleground state.
That's pretty fire. I mean, not gonna lie. That's
Vice President.
Okay. Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to name VP pick by August 7th. So she's actually going to pop off before the convention.
President Kamala Harris hits the campaign trail.
It's probably a solid choice in my opinion to do it before the convention. That way then you get one media hit there, then you get another media boost after the convention. These are pretty solid. These are pretty solid moves. What about Bashar? You completely skipped out. I'm going to get back to it, man. Hold on. Hold the door. Hold the phone. We're literally moving on to Kamala Harris's VP pick as a story. This is the time. This is where I'm going to talk about it. Okay? Holy dude. Holy moly. Calm the down. Jesus Christ. Relax. So impatient. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Kamala Harris is expected to name a VP pick by August 7th. We're going to revisit my VP pick slot.
In Georgia today.
Because there are some new revelations specifically about Bashir. I mean, Waltz has had some sussy on sicking the police on protesters as well, pro-Palestine protesters as well. That's just like, unfortunately, the Democratic Party. But let's see.
As she closes in on her pick for a running mate, Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has a story.
Good morning, George. Well, with her campaign jolted into hyperspeed, Kamala Harris is now on a very tight timeline, giving herself just a week to announce her VP. And this morning, that list is narrowing. Overnight, one of the leading contenders to be Kamala Harris's running mate pulling his name from the shortlist. Governor Roy Cooper saying this just wasn't the right time for North Carolina and for me to potentially be on a national ticket. With the clock ticking, Harris expected to announce her number 2 by August 7th. Potentials like Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro are out stumping for Harris and auditioning.
Please not Bashar, Pete, Shapiro, or Kelly. Wait, what? Why not Bashar on there? You can't put Andy Bashar on the same wavelength as Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, or Mark Kelly. Like, Andy Bashar has had significantly better policy positions than all of those other people in terms of like being in the diametrical opposite front, in terms of being pro-union, pro-labor, anti-charter school. These were the reasons why I was rooting for him, beyond the fact that he is a deep red state governor that is the most popular governor in the nation, most popular Democratic governor in the nation, who has who has a Republican supermajority in his state legislature, unlike Waltz, who has been carried by the Democratic Party apparatus in his own state. Okay, Waltz was the most normal on the uncommitted vote. Governor Waltz says Minnesota's 45,000. No, you're right about that. He did say that. He actually had a really good take on this specifically. He had the take. He had the best take. I showed this as well. Central Committee fucking hates him. I don't think Mike hates him. Bashar? No, I just say that as a joke. But there is additional stuff on Bashir in terms of like his like weird ass Israel takes that I was not privy to all the way back from 2021, where he adopted the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which I think is like unacceptable, obviously. And he was like years ahead on that front. Being part of the current government, liberals are so funny. Like, no, Pete Buttigieg being gay is not a problem. Okay, the fuck? Like, not even electorally. But it's pretty funny that like liberals only operate on these calculations. No, just because he's a good speaker doesn't mean he gets to be the fucking vice president. Okay, like he is a McKinsey consultant. He speaks good, but that's it. So if they're both pro-Israel, then Bashar is better than Waltz, in my opinion. No, Bashar is worse than Waltz in terms of his statements about anti-Semitism or Israel in general, in terms of his actions about Israel. And Waltz is literally better than Bashir in terms of pushing an economically progressive agenda. Okay. However, there is a significant difference between Bashir and Waltz. Waltz operates with a Democrat majority state legislature. Waltz or Bashir, on the other hand, has a Republican supermajority, a veto-proof supermajority in the Kentucky state legislature. Now, while Waltz's majority is slim, it doesn't matter. With that slim majority, they've done a fucking unimaginable number of good things for the state, and I've covered it extensively. Okay, I've covered it extensively. They are the method. The problem, however, is that the calculation changes dramatically. Completely unrelated, but since we're on the VP talk, I wasn't around in 2016. What was the reason for Hillary literally picking Tim Kaine for her VP? Boring white guy. It's true that Waltz flipped back the state leg when he won his re-election. He did a ton of stuff, which is likely what DC will be like. He has the confidence to push for progressive policy with slim margins, which is what we need. I agree. I like Waltz. I would not hate a Waltz push at all. Okay? I don't think it's bad. Not Waltz. I do. I like Pritzker as well. I want a fighter. The reason why I like Bashir is because he is a fighter in general. Like, he's uncompromising on a lot of shit that matters. Hold on. What is happening here? The problem with Pete being gay is that it defeats the straight white guy strategy. No, that's fine. Pete doesn't read gay. It's fine. Like, that's not the issue with Pete. Pete is a bloodless sociopath and a McKinsey consultant. Okay? What's more important, having good progressive values or delivering a key swing state? Having good progressive values. That's the easiest answer of all time. Having good progressive values and being known as a fighter that is uncompromising literally will deliver states for you. Anyway, but yeah, where was I? All right, let's look at the contenders on this article, and then we'll go one by one.
For the job.
Vice President Harris has been battle tested. She's not only ready, she's damn ready. And you know who else knows she's ready?
HasanAbi watches Central Committee confirmed. Lol, I love it. What are you talking about? He's in here right now. I'm talking to him directly.
Donald Trump knows she's ready. And you know how I know this? Because he's afraid to debate her now.
Donald Trump this morning still waffling on his agreement to debate in September, but insisting overnight that he's not afraid.
Chatters are weird as f. Not only is Mike in here, but also you motherfuckers love trying to spark drama between us too, like all the time. When Mike has a position that's like even like 0.1% different than mine, you come in here and you carry it in here and you go, oh, Michael actually disagrees with you. You have to address this right now because you guys are fucking brain broken and stupid. Okay? It's so dumb. It's the puppet master effect. Yeah, it's like Twitch watchers can't fucking stop themselves. Like, it's their worst instinct and they always lean on it.
If you're going to have a debate, you got to do it, I think, before the votes are cast. I think it's very important that you do that. So the answer is yes, but I guess we're not doing it.
But privately, his running mate, J.D. Vance, admitting to donors over the weekend that running against Harris instead of President Biden is more challenging, according to audio.
Pete worked for McKinsey for like a year post-graduation. Crazy how some folks are perpetually harping on this, like it was a Mitt Romney being the CEO of Bain. Yeah, in his 1 year of working for McKinsey post-graduation, he still worked on a company that was actively fixing bread prices in terms of his, analyst position in Canada. So it's cool that he was able to. It's cool that he was able to really make an impact that way. Oh my God.
Video obtained by the Washington Post.
All of us were hit with a little bit of a political sucker punch. The bad news is that Kamala Harris does not have the same baggage as Joe Biden because whatever we might say, Kamala Harris is a lot younger, and Kamala Harris is obviously not struggling in the same ways that Joe Biden did.
Out on the trail, Harris summing up her opponents in just one word, calling them out as weird.
And you may have noticed Donald Trump has been resorting to some wild.
I refuse people in this community like Pete. It's not even sock times. We have straight up CNN libs. No, it's people that don't have any kind of like real world view that is like solidly grounded. I think it just comes from people reacting to the aesthetics. Pete is very good on camera and in a very nerdy way too, in a way that really like autistic politics enjoyers like ourselves in this community love. Okay, they love that. It's just so funny to be in the bag for a dude who was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, who was elevated to transportation secretary because he's like the Democratic Party's, he is a Democratic Party operative through and through, a rugged neoliberal through and through, who has like no real positions or whatever, but he reads well on camera, so people love him. He's like, oh, he's such a handsome man. Everybody turns into like 65-year-old Deborah's watching CNN when it comes to aesthetics, okay? He's just good. He's good in interviews, and that's it. That's all these people care about. They're like, oh, but imagine if Pete Buttigieg was just like intelligently cook in the vice presidential debate and like destroy JD Vance. It's like, destroy JD Vance? Are you kidding me? He is JD Vance. He's just more charismatic JD Vance, which is obviously not saying too much because JD Vance is the least charismatic on the planet. Like, no. He got the job as transportation secretary because Obama made a call. Yeah, he's straight JD Vance, dude. JD Vance is gay. Pete is straight. He's the straight version of JD Vance. What am I doing? All right, let's just continue.
Lies about my record, and some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
And she's leaning into the issue she hopes will define the choice facing voters come November, abortion rights. Speaking out against the new 6-week abortion ban that went into effect in Iowa Monday, placing the blame squarely.
Gramsci and Wine Mom. What a perfect time. What perfect timing. Gramsci and Wine Mom gifted 5 gifted subs, both at the top of the hour, but also gifted subs right as we were talking about Pete Buttigieg, which is funny because Pete Buttigieg's father is literally the guy who translated Gramsci's works to English. So he was also, he was a bit of a Marxist. Both Pete and Kamala have Marxist parents. Being a wine mom, I suspect that you would be very much in the pocket for Pete. He has nothing rubbed off. Dude, nothing can rub off on this man. You got yelled at in 2020 for calling Pete Buttigieg, and now you're going to get yelled at for calling JD gay full circle. Yeah. Austin laughing at white dudes for Harris, but tweeted this 3 hours ago. Wow. Spittin' Nichols, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifts to subs as well. Reminding me that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. I forgot to run it, and I'm going to now. But that's right. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, unless you get gifted a sub, in which case you don't have to personally subscribe. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Chatters are simping for this guy. Yeah, Pete Buttigieg is a huge resource and mineral map of Afghanistan on the wall of his living room. Anyways, I'm sure his work on economic stabilization in war zones while at McKinsey and in naval intelligence before that was totally above board and 100% ethical. Yeah. No shot, dude. No fucking shot. Okay? No way, no how, no shot. That man is a federal agent. Okay? No way, no how, no shot. Oh my God. Yeah, I saw the JD Vance Soviet Union shirt. I know. He's beyond evil, and some of you chatters will hopefully learn fast. No, they won't. I'm Team Pete now just because it pisses you off when people say they like Pete. Okay. You think Bashar having a red supermajority makes him a stronger candidate, but it does also not affect his approval rating that you see as an advantage? Yeah, having a red supermajority while constantly vetoing right-wing bills with the exception of the tax cut is literally what led me to like him originally. And it's also the same reason why Walz is good too, even though obviously Walz is in a different circumstance. He's not in a red supermajority state legislature. But he's also a guy who is a fighter, who stays on message and talks about policies. Anyway, Florida voters. I can't find the post anymore, but it was like average Florida election, Senator reanimated Hitler, Banky McModerate, ballot question, institute full communism. Yes, 62%. No, 38%. Yeah. That's a classic Florida joke. New Florida poll, UNF rating. Donald Trump, 49%. Kamala Harris, 42%. Rick Scott, 47%. Debbie McCarsell Powell, 43%. Legalize recreational marijuana amendment. Yes, 64%. Limit government interference with abortion amendment. Yes, 69%. Florida is the most insane state, dude. I don't want to even cover Florida. I feel like it's on a different planet, and Ohio is next on that front too. Okay? With protests flaring in the state and nationwide, with some turning violent overnight, Kentucky Governor Andy Bashar on Thursday affirmed his call for State Attorney General Daniel Cameron to release evidence of the fatal police shooting in Breonna Taylor. Yeah, he did this too. In 2020 elections, Florida minimum wage was more popular than Trump and Biden. Yeah, I know. And also, felon vote restoration was more popular than both. Do you understand? Florida is just insane. Please don't bring up Florida numbers on anything. It is not replicable in any other part of the country. They are on crack cocaine out there. Every single person, I don't know what the f they got in the Florida water, but every single goddamn person in Florida is the most insane person on the planet. Okay? That's it. It's weird as, and I lived there. I'm telling you. Okay? I don't know what it is. It's meth in the water or some I don't know. Harris wipes out Trump's lead in battleground states in the Bloomberg poll that just came out. Michigan at 53% for Harris, 42% for Trump. Arizona at 49% for Harris, 47% for Trump. Nevada at 47% for Harris, 45% for Trump. I've never felt more vindication in my entire life for actively telling you that this would happen, and it literally did. And every single in the chat was chirping at me like, oh, but like, isn't it too late? Well, not every single motherfucker. Brandon Dead Enders were in the chat being like, oh, well, isn't it too late to do a swap out? Georgia goes into a tie with Harris at 47, Trump at 47. North Carolina, Donald Trump is at 48 and Harris is at 46. People were incredibly upset about how old Biden was. That was a major issue for Biden. Okay. Honeymoon cupcake polls, those numbers will go down. Those numbers will go down if Kamala Harris doesn't use this momentum to her advantage. Okay. And part of that absolutely has to be changing course on a bunch of things that separates her from Biden. If it's just like she needs to stay on message when it comes to economic policies that Biden was advocating for, all that stuff was really good. Okay, maybe push even harder, straight up. But in terms of like Israel Palestine, which by the way, these numbers in Michigan will go down if she comes out and swings in the direction of Israel. Okay. Especially in times where, yeah, here it is. IDF top Hezbollah commander Fuad Shukr was there in Beirut. They said this is coming out just now. But I thought that Hezbollah did not confirm it. So we'll see. Like when the situation in Lebanon is reaching a crisis point and it's boiling up, you need to understand in terms of Biden's immigration policy, she needs to at least like change the trajectory, change the message. Hezbollah sources, according to Al Jazeera, and this was at 12:30, so I don't know, but Hezbollah sources say that Mohsen Shukr, Israel's intended target, has survived the airstrike, so we'll see if that's the case or not. But regardless, is this another Al Shifa hospital moment? I don't know. I don't know what has happened yet. I'm waiting. Okay, but if Kamala Harris comes out and swings for Israel, the numbers in Michigan will change a little bit. Like, obviously, there's plenty of voters in Michigan that were not interested in Joe Biden due to his age, due to the way he presents himself. But there's still a large enough constituency that is actually looking to see what she will say and do about Israel. Okay? There is a large enough constituency in Michigan that wants to understand what Kamala Harris is going to say and do about Israel. And apparently it seems like VP Harris says Israel has the right to defend itself against a terrorist organization like Hezbollah. That being said, we still must work on a diplomatic solution to end the fighting, which is like basically just Joe Biden. I mean, it's just Joe Biden 2.0 so far. It comes down to whether Americans will be swayed by the aesthetics of progress in the form of a black woman that is much younger than Joe Biden, okay? Or if they genuinely want change. The aesthetics does work. Marketing does work. What do you mean if she has and will continue to support Israel? I know. It's a matter of what her support for Israel looks like. I don't know what this model is. I don't understand. A new model from Nate Silver. Electoral college probability with Trump 61%. Popular vote 53% goes to Kamala Harris. How do I explain to leftists that are hard on voting that I won't vote for her unless her stances in Israel change? I don't know why you just constantly try to find yourself at odds with other people where you like have to explain your positions. I genuinely don't get it. Like ultimately, I don't know what this conversation, like, I don't know how people have to have this conversation. Maybe it's weird, but like, maybe I just don't have a lot of like hard liberals or hard leftists even on that front that are constantly being like, what are your takes on this? Are you in the pocket for Kamala Harris? Are you going to vote for her? Like, I find that to be concerning. I've never been a person who thinks like you have to vote for the Democratic Party. I understand the harm reduction arguments, especially in prior years, but in terms of like harm reduction arguments, it's like the candidate has to win your vote. They have to earn your vote. That is democracy. That is how democracy works. Okay? We need to call it something different if that's not how democracy works. Like, what the f are we doing here? What's the point of even theoretically claiming we are a democracy if you're just going to constantly hyper focus and clue in on like a ever shrinking group of like rights for a group of marginalized people that consistently get smaller and smaller? Last election cycle, it was immigration, right? Oh, dude, you want immigrants to be murdered? Like, that's crazy. I can't believe that you don't want to vote for the Democratic Party. And at that point, Joe Biden was at odds with Trump's immigration policy. Now, that time has passed. It's long gone. 4 years of Joe Biden, he actually adopted Trump's 2020 immigration policies, literally, and tried to push a bill for it. Okay? He did. And now people can't say, oh, you don't care about immigrants no more. So they say, what about trans people? I guess you just don't want I guess you are voting. I guess you don't care about trans people. That's why you're not voting for the Democratic Party. And it's like, dude, how many times are you going to play this song and dance? Okay. Yeah, man, the tiny minority that are, let me check, women. Yeah, my bad. Such a tiny minority for me to try and look out for. Man, okay, yeah, man, women. Shut the up. You're literally doing this dumb shit right now as I'm in the process of talking about this. Like 4 years of a Democratic leadership and women's rights were cratered in the process. Okay? The f you mean? Like, what commitment do you have to women at all? And I'm not even talking about just like women in Gaza, which are being slaughtered with our endless support for an apartheid state. Okay? What are you talking about? I hate this argument. I don't want to blast a lot of like young people who are, or even old people who are firmly committed to the Democratic Party right now, but you are begging for it if you come in here with this energy, okay? Like the idea that like this community or myself don't care about women's rights. What have you done, dumbass? We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for specific groups in red states that work with women, like underprivileged women that desperately need medical procedures such as abortion. And you're in here being like, then that happened under a Democratic leadership, by the way. God damn. I'm not out here saying vote for the Republicans. I would never say that. That's dumb as. I'm simply saying that the Democratic Party's posture changes year over year, and the ratchet effect is very real. And it's directly a consequence of this two-party duopoly, where one party consistently capitulates to the right-wing framing on issues, and the other party keeps pushing the needle further and further right, regressing people's individual liberties. And you're left with a smaller margin of issues that you can say is different than the Republicans. Anyway, well, tough for you because I live in Wisconsin, so should I just not vote for Kamala? Did I say that? I said vote for whoever the f you want, as long as it's not Donald Trump, okay? Suck my dick. You can hate it, but if you want to try and tell me there's zero consequences for women if Donald Trump gets elected, yeah, nice one. You're arguing with someone who is not, like you're shadow boxing with someone, okay? You're not arguing against my positions. If you want to vote for Kamala Harris, go vote. Vote illegally, okay? Vote 10 times, 20 times if you want to. I don't give a shit. Like, what are you talking about? You just want an argument to feel good. You want someone to tell you you're a good boy or a good girl or a good MB for going out and doing your civic duty. That's what you want. You want to feel good about your vote. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. So that pisses you off. It's the same dynamic since 2016 and far before 2016 as well. Okay? It's always the same. It's not your vote, and your confidence in the Democratic leadership is not sufficient. Okay? It's not sufficient enough. I'm over here abiding by a very obvious democratic principle, okay? That your elected representatives need to earn your vote. If they simply rely on the aesthetics, or if they simply rely on harm reduction arguments, as the Democratic Party does all the fucking time, they are not going to garner enough support to actually eke out an electoral college win. This happened in fucking 2016. This literally happened in 2016. That's not how most people vote. At the end of the day, no matter how dumb the median voter is, the average American still votes on vibes for the most part, but they also want to vote for something. The only way that you can actually get a commitment, a firm commitment to go out and vote in a country where it is literally as difficult as physically possible, like the process is completely fucking made difficult in an effort to ensure that people don't go and fucking vote. You're over here being like, oh no, yeah, in a country where the plurality historically doesn't fucking vote, of eligible voters don't fucking vote as a consequence of the Electoral College and the way that it's designed. You're over here talking about, do you think Harris will change course on immigration? No, I don't. Joe Biden had a majority in both the House and Senate for 2 whole years and didn't protect women's reproductive rights. Yeah, I mean, Hasan, I lost the cringe argument. How would you have won it? Proceeds to argue with you. Yeah, I know. I did talk about Trump saying you never have to vote again. Sounds very fascistic to me. Sorry, I just got here. I know. He's out of control. I'm literally a gay person of color, MB, and this lib stuff won't make people like me like this lib anymore and give them awards. I wish they would understand that. It's weird to act like this and need to push this lib narrative. At least you're yelling at him. Yeah, it's just like so weird. It's so odd. Why would you make demands for more progressive politics when an election is right around the corner and they need your votes? It would be much more civil and courteous if you voted for Harris and then asked nicely. Exactly. That is unironically the argument that some of these people make. Like, they're just hysterical too. They don't even make it like that. They make it in a hysterical way where it's like, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, if you don't fucking offer your undying loyalty to Kamala Harris right now, that means you want women to be murdered. You want trans people to be murdered in every corner. They can't say that about immigrants, though. Notice how they can't say that about immigrants any longer? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that strange? How at least in 2020, they could say that about immigrants too, but they can't say that about immigrants no more. I wonder what happened. Oh, that's right. We all went out and we fucking voted for a dude, okay, in terms of harm reduction. And that dude turned around and was like, yo, fuck immigrants too, but democratically. Like, so you can so you can judge Trump voters, but we can't judge non-voters. I mean, I judge all voters, okay? But I certainly will judge Trump voters because Trump voters are unironically fucking delusional, okay? What the fuck could have Biden done with the Supreme Court clown? Yeah, you're right. What could the president do? Then why are you voting? Hey, can you explain to me why you're voting for the president if they can't fucking do anything about anything? Because this is also the other side of the Democratic Party defense brigade. When they always go, yeah, actually, why do you have these expectations from the president? Why do you have any expectations from the president? Okay, then why the fuck should people vote for the president, dumbass? The fuck do you mean? Ultimately, it comes down to this. You just want to feel good that your team won. That's literally it. If your goal is not to actually get some kind of serious demands from the elected representative that you're going to go out and vote for, if you don't want any demands from them, then you just are voting to feel good. You're voting like you did your part. You're voting like you're saving the country or some shit. It's so weird. And you're yelling at someone who doesn't give a shit. Like, I'm not going to fucking be like, don't vote for Kamala Harris. It's insane. Okay. I don't care. Vote for Kamala till the cows come home. Okay. But don't fucking sit here and act like you're actually doing something revolutionary. Like you're doing something unimaginably fucking progressive when you also simultaneously turn around and go, well, what could the president do about the Supreme Court? Then why are you voting? It's set, you know, it's set in motion. Nothing we can do about it, I guess. I feel like a left-wing argument on the issue of immigration won't work as well coming from a person of color compared to the average old white dude. Unfortunately, no, that's bullshit too. Young libs know nothing but defensive voting for 8 years now. I miss being excited about voting. I mean, it's just, for most people, it's their first or their second election. By the third one, they'll know, you know? Every 4 years, we have this back and forth. That's what it is. It comes from youth. It comes from the naivete that comes along with like thinking that things will change for the better. It's fine. I like that. You know, go out, kings and queens and dempers. Okay. Being a lib in Alabama will eviscerate any hope you have in your vote. Civic duty, my asshole. Crazy that a rich white dude doesn't care about who wins law. Yeah, no. And then these lines of attack come in. It's like, yeah, that like I'm so privileged. That's why I don't care. You know, you on the other hand, you're the least privileged. You're a gay, non-binary black person in a wheelchair, and your rights are at odds with everyone else's, and that's why you're voting for the Democratic Party, because voting for the Democratic Party is a defensive measure. No, you're right. I've never heard that before. Thank you. And but you're no longer an undocumented immigrant. Once again, remember, because you were, you know, a gay, non-binary black person in a wheelchair that was also an undocumented immigrant, but you're no longer an undocumented immigrant. You're documented now because obviously fuck the immigrants. You know what I mean? I definitely have privilege, but I'm not going to act like a dick to people who want to vote, lol. I'm not being a dick to people who want to vote. I said, go vote for Kamala Harris. I am a dick to people who want to vote for Donald Trump. You're once again arguing against the position that I don't have. Okay. You kind of are. You're saying they're being naive. Well, they are. People are being naive if they think that voting for a party without getting any assurances or demanding any assurances is naive. And assuming that the party will actually do their bidding is naive. When has that happened for them? That has not. And it's not like I'm saying there's an alternative out there. There's like a fucking communist alternative that you need to vote for. I mean, I joke about PSL Andy's Tuesdays in the chat chirping till the fucking cows come home about voting for PSL all day, every day. I make jokes about that too. Okay. But if you take it super seriously and you get like really upset, then yeah, I'm going to make fun of you because it does stem from naivete. Anyway, let's get back to the actual issue at hand here. Okay. People will come into your chat and act like you haven't been against Trump and say, why are you bashing Trump voters? Yeah, that's always awesome. I mean, that's good. That's good. Those guys can be convinced, potentially. Okay. The ratio is official. 14K likes, 13K likes. Let's go. We did it. Electoral politics is a distraction to people who want real change anyway. My hackles get raised every time someone tries to use my community as a trans woman to bully others into ignoring the very real and pressing things the DNC is ignoring. Yeah. Matt Descartes, thank you for the 50 big ones. New JD Vance in 2021. We have to go to war against the idea that women don't have to have kids. He really wants to lock women up and turn them into fucking baby incubators, straight up. New poll drop. Yeah, Harris has wiped out Trump's lead across 7 swing states in the latest round of the Bloomberg News Morning Consult poll. The poll found a big damn lead in Michigan, a more modest Trump lead in Pennsylvania, and close contests everywhere else. Dead heat. Every 4 years, you'll be getting a new crop of youth voting, and you'll perpetually have to explain the same busted-ass electoral system forever. Potentially. Anyway. If you don't want me, I will say this again. If you don't want me chirping about Kamala Harris, okay, or chirping about fucking ride or die Dems, because my issue with Joe Biden isn't just that he's fucking old, okay? There's plenty of other things that I had issues with Joe Biden and openly said I would never vote for Joe Biden, okay? But if you think that that was the only reason, because he was old, you're wrong. If you come in here and chirp at me for not being sufficiently pro-Kamala and being in the tank for Kamala, I'm going to fucking criticize Kamala Harris. Did you vote for Brandon in 2020? I did. That's the issue. Many people's problem with him was, and that's crazy. It's not that crazy. It's a pretty big issue that, like, the fucking person who's running for president's mental faculties are not in order. Don't you know that not voting for Kamala will cost her the election in California? No, it's not even that. I'm not even saying that. Even if I lived in a fucking swing state, I would be saying the same shit. Straight up. It doesn't matter where you live. What matters is your politicians making assurances to earn your vote. This is a fundamental principle in democracy, okay? You make this calculation. I think it's fucking insane to be like, no, shut the fuck up and vote. Put your head down and vote. And that's not how people vote anyway. Even if you do, even if you fucking vote that way, okay, other people don't. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard I chirp. If I could swing votes in any direction in a meaningful capacity, if I had that fucking power, okay, if I could go up against multi-billion dollars in campaign fundraising and multi-billion dollars in free and earned media from mainstream media, okay, right now Bernie Sanders would be president and we would have abolished term limits so that he could be president again. I do not have this power. If I had this power, Hillary Clinton would have been president in 2016. You know, I recognize the writing on the wall with Donald Trump in 2016, and I urge people to go out and vote for Hillary Clinton. Okay? It didn't fucking work. Didn't work at all. I was with her. I'm still with her. Fuck it. Make Hillary Clinton the nominee. Looks like the polls in Michigan reflect what I stated about the undecided voters. Nothing. Noting making the same statement in the general election. What? Yeah. I'm not in the fucking tank for the Democratic Party across the board. I need you to understand. I'm not a vote blue no matter who guy. I'm not in the fucking tank for the Dems. I have my own positions, and I have never shied from criticizing the Democratic Party, even if it's an election, even if it's not an election. Just because you're paying attention to shit that's happening right now because the election cycle has started, and now you're interested again, doesn't change my positions. Okay? That's it. Like, why is that such a radical position? Why can't you be on the inside wondering why shit is fucked up? Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why people are just so, I don't know. People are just, have you ever voted red? No, fuck no. Come on, man. My criticisms of the Democratic Party stem from their proximity. And by that, I mean their closeness to Republican Party positions. Okay? That's insane. Unless you meant red as in like communist red. All I'm saying is not voting does not count as activism. Wait, what? Did I say that not voting does not count as activism? The only time it counts as activism is in the primaries or the uncommitted campaign, which is still voting, by the way, was a phenomenal opportunity for people to show the Democratic Party that they were not happy with what things were. So technically you are blue no matter who? Wait, what? Every single argument that people are making in the chat, they're basically making against like an enemy that they've propped up in their minds. Okay. This is not a position that I've had. This is not a position that I've maintained. This is not a position that I've ever advocated for. That's it. I am not an accelerationist by any means. Not at all. I don't want Donald Trump to win. That's why I fucking advocate for the things that I advocate for. Because it's sound policy and it's good politics. And it's kind of wild to come in here and chirp at me when like the Democratic Party seemingly has maybe not heard my talking points, but has like genuinely done a bunch of the things that I actually said must happen. And now you're looking at the fucking polls on showing exactly what I've been saying. Showing exactly what I've been saying nonstop, and you're still chirping at me. Okay? As someone who is not that into politics overall, I genuinely don't understand how people can misunderstand you so frequently. Even if they disagree, you're explaining your position in a way that even I understand. Yeah. Them say you're anti-Biden because you're anti-labor. Yeah, famously, I'm so anti-labor. Anyway. Show this to the coconut heads. Why Democrats never get anything done? We'll do it. Okay. Let's get back to where the fuck we were at. Okay.
On Trump after
We've done 2 videos so far, dude. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper dropped out. Kamala Harris is expected to pick a vice president by August 7th.
3 of the Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe versus Wade.
This ban is going to take effect before many women even know they're pregnant. And what this means is that 1 in 3 women of reproductive age in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban.
One of those states, Georgia. Harris today heading to the critical state where abortion is sure to be a top issue. Biden won the state by just 12,000 votes in 2020, but the president had been trailing Trump in recent weeks. The Harris campaign now hoping to build off her momentum to put the state back in play.
Now, Harris tonight will be holding a big rally in Atlanta, expected to be the largest event of the race so far. And this morning, her campaign is out with their first ad, spending $50 million to blitz the airwaves as they reintroduce her to voters. Robin.
All right, Mary, our thanks to you.
He made a statement having to do with families. That doesn't mean that people that...
Ooh, let's get to Donald Trump's VP pick. Oh, boy. Okay. J.D. Vance. Just a charisma suck. Just absolutely awful. Another lock, by the way. Here, Edinger Mentum and I had this conversation before Donald Trump went with J.D. Vance, talking about how fucking bad it was. We've had this conversation after Donald Trump went with J.D. Vance, talking about how fucking bad it is. Here's the Trump campaign statement on Project 2025's demise. President Trump's campaign has been very clear for over a year that Project 2025 had nothing to do with the campaign, did not speak for the campaign, and should not be associated with the campaign of the president in any way. Reports of Project 2025's demise would be greatly welcomed and should serve as a notice to anyone or any group trying to misrepresent their influence with President Trump and his campaign. It will not end well for you. They're actively pushing against their major think tank. Okay? That's so awesome. And by the way, this was a gift delivered to the Democratic Party by TikTok and YouTube, okay? Independent media. Independent media, they posted you on here? What the fuck is this? Nice. It says 776 likes, man. Just, you're saying you don't want Trump to win, but isn't the only way for Trump not to win is to vote for Kamala? I don't get it. Yes, but you do understand, I hope, that there is nothing I can do personally, okay, unless, I guess, like, seemingly the Democratic Party listens to the things I'm saying, which is laughable. It's not going to happen, okay? My point has always been that politicians have to earn your fucking vote. Okay? And if they don't do that, if they actually operate on this idea that, like, it's just lesser evil voting, it's just harm reduction over and over again, in every election cycle, they will not work to earn your vote. And therefore, many people, a plurality of voters that don't go out and vote, will continue to not go out and vote. Okay? That's my point. This is the most important election for our lifetime, just like 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2028, 2032, 2036. Yeah, it's always the most important election. I've never had a fucking situation where it was the least important election. You know what I mean? Nobody ever comes out and says, this is the least important election of our lifetime. Okay? That was the Hillary problem. Just vote for me. I'm the only choice. Exactly. And it was objectively a bad way to run a campaign. And it failed. I think 2016 legitimately was the least consequential election. I think it was actually a very consequential election. I think that's what you're saying, right? Because it was. I don't think you understand the influence you have on your viewers. Man, shut up. The influence I have on my fucking viewers. Yeah, I'm going to swing votes, dude. Even if I had the capacity to swing votes, if that was real, then the Democratic Party would listen to me, okay? But they do not. And therefore, or if I have the capacity to literally change the trajectory of a fucking election, then don't you think it's idiotic for the Dems to not listen to me then? Because if I'm this all-powerful being, let's say 37,000 people are currently watching me, every single one of them is an American who's registered to vote in a fucking swing state, okay? Which is not the case. I have an international audience as well, but let's say they're all over the age of 18. They're not. And they're all swing state voters. Okay? Every single one. Right? Don't you think that if that was the power that I held in my hand, that the Democratic Party should listen to someone so powerful? Obviously, that's not the case, and I do not have that capacity. Okay? Sounds like Jimmy Dore. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not like Jimmy Dore at all. Because a lot of people have peasant brain. A lot of Americans have peasant mentality. Okay? We fancy ourselves to be revolutionary figures that dump tea. Okay? We think, no, we're all fucking big, bold, brave patriots at the end of the day. We're revolutionary figures at the end of the day. But a lot of us have fucking peasant mentality. The idea that you resort to, my lord, my vote is for you, my lord. If not, the other leader will be much, much worse, my lord. You can do whatever you want. That's undemocratic. That is not how democracy works. That's not how it should work. The entire principle behind the democratic process is that politicians are supposed to come to you and say, what do you want? I got you. But a lot of people operate on the assumption that, like, no, there's nothing we can do to change. There's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of American politics. And therefore, we just vote for one God King over the other. That's not how this works. Feel me? You smell me? You understand me? If you hold no influence on your audience, then why bother doing what you do? You must think you have some kind of positive impact on people. Absolutely. I do believe that. Okay? I do. But it's not about altering the trajectory of the Democratic Party. I can't do that. I can only arm you with the belief that you have in your fellow workers to be able to make marginal changes in your immediate life. I can only arm you with the confidence to go. And I can only arm you with the confidence to go out and organize in your workplace, go out and run for office, local elections. Like, that's all I can do. And that's what I try to do every day. Bro, Donald Trump is literally the smartest and most effective president since Abraham Lincoln. I have plenty of examples, and you're literally brainwashing people to become anti-Republican and therefore ruining democracy of the land of the free. Oh, come on. This is a fake. This is not a real. No actual Republican writes like this. Okay, this is a liberal LARPing as a Republican. They're baiting. Come on. No, come on, dude. Anyway, let's get back to John Don Vance.